Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just got back from the jungle over here in Vietnam. Now I'm in Ho Chi Minh City. So if you hear traffic outside, it's because I'm in like a pretty busy city. I heard that there's 12 million people here in this city alone. I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna take off my glasses because of the glare, so I can't really see shit right now. I just see like blur. But yes, I wanted to talk about traveling and traveling with like a mental disorder, a mental illness, depression, anxiety, whatever that is. Because I don't know, that's what I'm doing right now. I just wanted to let you guys know that I do truly believe that, you know, changing your environment is very, very beneficial for your mental health. Like for example, when I was in Perth, I was like smoking weed all the time. As soon as I finished work, I went home, smoked weed, went to the bong. I had, you know, weed posters around my room, and it was because of like my room being right next to the balcony where I could just like smoke all the time whenever I wanted. And then once I got myself out of that environment, also Perth, but also that house, it did really help with my sobriety. Like if you struggle with sobriety, sometimes changing your environment, that could also just mean changing the people you hang out with. You don't have to like move house or go on a holiday and stuff like that. I've definitely mentioned before that going on holiday helps me like reset my sobriety. Like if I fall down, I slip down, and I end up, you know, doing more substances than I'm supposed to be, or that I allow myself to, then going on holiday, as privileged as it sounds, does kind of like reset it for me. But I do want to talk about how traveling to like cure your mental illness doesn't really work like that. Like definitely changing your environment does help. Like I know decorating your room with like good phrases, things that make you happy, is very important. That's why you know, people put the things that they like around their room, around their house, because subconsciously, like your brain, like for example, I like plants, so when I see a plant in my house, even though I'm not thinking like, oh, I love that plant, I want to have a house with lots of plants one day, so I'm going to keep working hard so I can have a house with lots of plants one day. Subconsciously, like that's what I'm thinking of, but like in reality, your eyes are just like looking at that plant, but your brain reads it more than you consciously are reading it. So definitely like having a environment that, like if you're walking outside and you hear people fighting and yelling all the time, like that's not a good environment, and I can understand why you would want to leave that environment or change that environment. But a lot of the times people, especially the more privileged people who can afford to travel, think that like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna leave all my problems behind once I leave like where my problems are. Like for example, going through a breakup and being like, okay, I'm just gonna go on holiday so I can like forget about that. Or I'm really depressed and anxious, but like booking this holiday will fix that all. That's definitely not true, and it's not a good way to look at it. Like there have been times where when I'm traveling, I expect that like I will just like magically be so happy and feel better. Obviously right now I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious, or at least I don't think so, and I haven't been for a long time, so please don't like be concerned about me. Put your energy to people in the comments. Like if someone in the comments is not feeling good, leave them a sunflower emoji, leave them a love heart or something. Don't worry about me. But like there have been times where, you know, something situational will happen. You know, I end up leaving a job, I lose a friend, I lose a lover, and I go on holiday, or I've already had a holiday booked, and I get to that holiday and I'm like, wow, I am just as like upset, I am just as anxious as I was, and it makes me feel worse because I'm like, oh, I should be enjoying the beach, I should be enjoying my holiday, and instead I'm just in my head. Like I can be in my head at home where I'm not spending a ton of money to be traveling away, you know what I mean? So sometimes it does make you feel worse because you're thinking like, oh, I'm supposed to be enjoying my time. I spent so much money, I worked so hard so that I could, you know, spend some time away, travel somewhere, and I still am feeling anxious and depressed and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's because you have to always constantly be working on your mental health. It is a lifelong commitment that you have to make. Like for example, I meditate every day, I stretch every day, which helps for my mental health, and I pray every night, and not necessarily like praying to a god, but sometimes I do it in the shower or in my bed, and I'll go through like a list of gratitude. And I did see this quote one day, and it said, gratitude is the highest form of prayer. So that's why I say I pray, just easier, because some people who are like Christian might relate to it, some people who are Buddhist might relate to it, but I don't particularly like subscribe to one particular religion. So I go through my gratitude list, and I always practice on my mental health because I plan what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be better, tomorrow's going to be good, because this is not like the mistakes I make today. I will not make those mistakes tomorrow, and if I do, I will forgive myself for those mistakes, blah 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 blah. It's a constant commitment you have to make to yourself, is fixing your mental health, going inside, healing your inner child, talking to yourself, giving yourself grace, giving yourself mercy, not being so hard on yourself, understanding yourself, all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people will think, especially like people who can afford to travel, like, okay, I'm gonna go to Bali, and then suddenly like, oh, that breakup isn't gonna hurt as bad, or suddenly losing my job or my friend or having that fight with a family member is not gonna be so bad. And then you get on that holiday, and then you still feel it. It doesn't go away, it doesn't disappear, and then sometimes it makes you feel worse because you're like, I should be having fun and I'm not. And that has happened to me before too. Like, I remember I was going through kind of like a breakup one time, and I spent a lot of money like saving up for this holiday for months. And so we went through a breakup, and then I went on this holiday, and all I was thinking, like, I've worked so hard for a year so that I could travel to this destination, and now I can't even enjoy myself, that I worked so hard to travel here, to enjoy time with my family and my friends, and all I'm thinking about is like what happened back at home. And it just made me feel like, oh my god, like what a waste, which isn't true. It's definitely not true at all. I can think back to a handful of holidays and travels where I wish I wasn't so focused on what was happening back at home or what happened back home, and I was more present in the moment, looking around and not thinking like, oh, my friend that I'm not friends with anymore would have loved to hear about this or whatever. Instead, to just like be there, be here now, enjoy the moment, be there for the moment, be your own friend, show things to yourself, talk to yourself. Like when I travel, I especially travel by myself, and I see something, I'll be like, that's really cool, I like that. I'm saying that to myself, and I am becoming my own friend, my own partner. Like I have an own personal relationship with myself, and every single one of you guys should too. And you should also have a personal relationship and a private relationship with the universe as well too. Talk to the universe when you're walking outside. Oh, I am so lucky to be here. Thank you so much for showing me this or whatever, you know what I mean? Yes, so also when it comes to anxiety, because you know when you're depressed and you travel, like depression just doesn't go away like that. Like you constantly have to work on yourself. With anxiety, if you're anxious to travel because, you know, makes sense, like you haven't been there before, I would recommend like doing a lot of prepping. You know, prepping when you arrive there, what time you arrived there. You've already pre-booked a taxi, go on Google Maps, look at your hotel area, find like the closest 7-Eleven, so you know, okay, if I get lost in my hotel one day and I don't have my phone, at least I know how to get to the 7-Eleven. Like just over prepare yourself so that it just helps you not feel so anxious. Like I'm lucky enough that like when I was a child, my parents moved every 2 years, so I was able to travel a lot, which gave me the confidence to like go through airport security, travel, do all that stuff, or take the bus, take the train. You don't always have to fly to go on a holiday. But for some people, it's like their first time. I would say over prep yourself. And what does help actually is that when you're an anxious person and you doubt yourself, like that's what anxiety is, like doubting yourself. When you actually do it and you complete it and you reach your goal, you trust yourself so much. You feel like your own best friend. Like for example, I've traveled a lot to Asia and a few places in Europe. Out of all the countries I visited, arriving in Switzerland was absolutely the scariest for me. I don't know why. I arrived in Zurich airport and I got there and I just wanted to cry, and I just wanted to hide in the airport bathroom or find like a security guard and just be like, can I just hang out with you? Like I was so anxious, I was so scared, and I told myself, no, like you've got this planned, you know where to go, you know what time your bus is leaving from Zurich, etc., etc. Like you can get through this. I found my taxi, I found my bus station, I found out where I needed to go, I managed to get a SIM card. It took me ages to find a SIM card. I would say as well as a recommendation to be over prepared. Have buy yourself an eSIM before you arrive in that place, because as soon as you arrive, you can text your parents, say, hey, I've arrived. You can check your phone, you can check your messages. If you have a connecting flight or a connecting bus, connecting train, you can see updates, whether it's been delayed or canceled or anything. But once I went through getting into Switzerland, I gave myself a pat on the back. I was like, I just wanted to stay at the airport and cry and book a ticket back home to Australia, because this was so scary for me. And once I got through it, I really trusted myself, and I was like, why did I doubt myself? Like, why did I think that I couldn't do this when I can? Like, I believe in myself. Why did I doubt myself? And having that confidence actually helps your anxiety, because when you feel like you're gonna have an anxiety attack, or you're feeling very anxious about something, you know that you can get through it because you've gotten through it so many times before. In the same situation, maybe even, you know what I mean? So yes, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so traveling can be a band-aid to fixing your problems. I do think it is a good idea to change your environment if you are struggling with like depression. It's just a new perspective, and it doesn't mean moving house or moving home or moving city, moving country. It can also mean just changing your environment of friends, changing the layout of your room, moving your bed, moving the feng shui of your room or your house, or even your backyard, just doing something different, putting a new poster up. Change the wall screen on your phone, the background screen on your phone. Feels like you have a brand new phone, you know what I mean? So those stuff definitely does help. But if you think like, oh, I'm gonna book a holiday because I'm depressed and it's going to help me, boy, you're wrong. That's not gonna help you. The only person who can help you and your mental health issues is you, and possibly your therapist. But it is you. It's constant commitment to helping your mental health, being there for yourself, and like I said, giving yourself grace. These are just band-aids. Going shopping, traveling, doing all that stuff, it definitely does give you experiences which does help you trust yourself, help you have confidence in yourself, but it's not just gonna, you're not just gonna go away or to move house or take the bus and travel to a new location and then suddenly all your problems go out the window. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, I hate to be a buzzkill, but I just wanted to let you guys know, because I think I've made some videos in the past where I'm like, oh my god, traveling like cured my depression and all that kind of stuff. So I do just kind of want to like take that back, or kind of like add to it. You know what I mean? But anyways, I love you guys all so much. Thank you for listening. I think next time you see me, I'll have pink hair, so that'll be cute. Love you guys all so much. Leave a sunflower in the comments if you've watched all the way through. Bye!